How do you decide what you find interesting in life or the things that you choose to focus on? Do you know that this is another thinking pattern, a meta program, a mental shortcut, an unconscious program that your mind is running? This is one that decides what you're primarily interested in. This is the thinking pattern that determines what you choose to focus on or to pay attention to in any piece of information or in anything that you're doing. Again, it is unconscious. We have 5 different categories of things, or just 5 different general categories or baskets that we can choose to be interested in. These are people, places, things, activities, or information, in no particular order. None of them is more important than the other. None of them is better than the other. They're just the 5 different things that our minds can decide. This is what we're going to choose to be interested in. This is what we're going to find interesting. And the other things that fall outside that bracket, we find boring. Now let us go a little bit deeper into this and just describe what it looks like for one to be interested in these different things. Now, if your primary interest is people, these are the people who are very interested in relationships, relating, interacting with humans, interacting with people, getting to know them better, getting to understand them, teaching them what's going on with them, how can we improve them. Those are the kind of people who find people as their primary interest. They just find interaction with people as their primary interest. Whatever it is that is related to people is very, very interesting to them. Now, the second category is places. The people who find places interesting are the ones who are interested in locations, what happened in the location, where the location is in relation to other places or to other locations, the events that happened there, that are going to happen there, that happened in the past. They are also interested in location in society, like rank, like the social standing, social status. They're interested in that kind of location. Those are the people who find places as their primary interest. Places as a thing that is interesting to them. The third category is things. Now, these are the people who are interested in ownership. They're interested in having stuff. They're interested in having the latest shoes, the latest car, the latest gadget, the latest phone, in owning property, in owning land, in owning stuff. They're just interested in ownership, acquiring and ownership. They're the ones who will build a bigger house so that they can have more stuff, a bigger cabinet for their watches, a bigger wardrobe or a bigger walk-in closet for their shoes and for their clothes. They're just interested in ownership. They're always buying, owning, they want to have. Now, the fourth category are the people who are interested in information. These are the ones who are interested in ideas, they're interested in learning, they're interested in knowledge, they're interested in understanding stuff. They're the ones who are usually the geeks or the nerds. They usually find a topic and they go deep in that topic and they really, really know a lot of stuff about the topic. Now, just because they know a lot of stuff doesn't mean that they're going to implement that stuff. Their interest is in knowing, understanding, learning, and having various ideas in that particular area of interest. Now, the fifth category is activity. These are the ones who love doing. They're interested in what is happening, what activity is happening, what is going on here. They're interested in implementing, in taking action, in taking steps, in moving, they just want to see stuff happening, things moving. They're the ones who are interested in progress, as in their progress is in things moving. They just want to see stuff moving. So those are the activity people. Now, how does this show up in the office? Now, in offices or at work, the people who are interested in people are the ones who are interested in what's going on with the people. How can we teach the people the birthdays of the ones who know the birthdays of the people, the ones who know what's happening with so-and-so, the ones who know how many kids so-and-so has, the ones who know what is happening in people's lives. They love to interact with people. So they're the ones who are very good at HR, very good at training, very good at counseling, very good at teaching, very good at sales if that sales involves interacting with people. Anything that involves interacting with people, customer support, Those are the people, the ones who they're the people's people. They just love to interact with people. They need to be placed in positions where they are going to interact with people. The people who are interested in places, especially in offices, these ones are like on two fronts. The ones who are interested in the physical place, that is like the design of the office, where the chairs should be, where the big office should be, where the boss's office should be, where the air conditioning should be placed. That is one half of the people who are interested in places. The other half are the people who are so interested in rank and position and how a rank should be treated, how you should get to that rank, who is moving to this rank, what is happening at that rank. They're just interested in how they position themselves for the next promotion and all that kind of stuff. Those are the people who are very good at politics within the organization. Now, the third category of people who are interested in things, those are the ones who are interested in acquisition. What do we need to acquire as a department, as an organization? How do we maintain this stuff? So they're ones who are very, very good at stores, at procurement, at maintenance. The administrative department, the ones who are just keeping stuff running, keeping the operations running, maintaining the cars, maintaining the equipment, maintaining the servers, maintaining the doors, maintaining the building, maintaining the stuff. Those are the people who are interested in things. They're interested in acquiring and keeping the stuff running. The fourth category are the ones who are interested in information. Now, these are the geeks in the various departments and in the various sections. As I said, they would find a particular subject and they would go deep in that subject. There are people who would be geeks in accounting. They are very, very good at accounting, and if you have any problem, go to them. They know how to sort it out. There are those who would be geeks in IT, or geeks in security, computer security, or geeks in networking, and that's where they really, really go deep. There are those who would be geeks in training, and they know how to go deep in that. There are those who would be geeks even in the procurement department. They know the laws, the different policies, the different guidelines, where there are gaps, where you need to apply this or the other. They just know a lot about a particular subject. They're interested in the ideas and in learning and in acquiring and amassing knowledge in a particular subject. Those would be the various geeks in the different departments, or the various geeks on different topics in the organization. Now, the last is the people who are interested in activity. These are the ones who you need on the project, the ones who are going to get things done. The ones who, when you sit in meetings and you're planning, they're like, when are we going to start doing? They want to get stuff done. So they're the implementers of stuff. They're the ones who you can send around to run around to get information, to find information for you, to discover stuff, to locate stuff. They're just interested in taking action, in taking steps, in acting, in doing. They're the doers of the organization. So when you understand various people's primary interests, this helps you to know where to place them. It helps you to know how to motivate them. It also helps you to know what their gaps are so that you can support them with those gaps. Now I'm going to bring it home to myself. My primary interest is information, and the primary subject that I'm interested in is human behavior. I am very, very interested in understanding human behavior, understanding human emotion, understanding why we behave the way we behave, understanding the human mind, what makes us think the way we think, what makes us react the way that we react, what makes us believe the things that we believe. That is an area that I will read about, that I will research about, that I will listen to podcasts about, I will watch videos about. I do not get tired. Even when I am watching movies, that's why I love series, because it gives me time to study the characters and to understand the characters and to just get to know them. I just love understanding, learning, having ideas, getting more knowledge about human behavior. Now, because that is my area of primary interest, it's kind of an advantage for me, because if I'm interested in information and the information is about people, so that helps me to cover two categories, the information and the people. And then it also helps me to cover the activities that relate to humans, because in order to understand human behavior, I need to also understand the activities. So those are the pluses for me of my primary interest. However, the gaps that I found are that I'm not particularly keen or understanding or interested in places, as in rank, position, and in things, acquiring stuff. That is not a primary area of interest for me. An example for this is, there's a time when I was part of a project. We're in a meeting with this person who is a very high-ranking person in the organization. I was at the lowest rank in the meeting, and this person was one of the highest ranking people in the organization, so high ranking that when the person laughed, the people in the meeting laughed. Now I'm a person who is oblivious of how you're supposed to behave around rank. So I did not know that I was supposed to laugh when they laughed. I remember I just looked like it is not funny. What is actually going on? But that is what was happening, because I am not particularly interested in rank and how it is I need to react around rank. Actually, this high-ranking person, when I interacted with them, I treated them as a person. And in the end, we actually became friends because I treated them as a human being. We talked as human beings. We interacted as human beings. And we got stuff done as human beings. I wasn't disrespectful, but I just treated them as another human being. I remember I actually met them once at the airport. That was outside work. They had gone to pick up a child and I'd gone to pick up a sibling. And we stood side by side and spoke for about 30 minutes like human beings. I wasn't bowing or anything. We just understood each other as human beings. But you see, the thing is, I understand what I'm interested in and what I'm not interested in. I understand also where I need to have friends who understand things and friends who understand position so that I can kind of cover those gaps. I have another friend who is primarily interested in activity. And for them, it's activity around people. So that kind of covers two bases. But what we found is that when they were implementing projects in their business, they were so interested in doing, and they would actually be busy about stuff for days, for weeks. And then you ask them, what progress have you made? And there's zero progress made. So this is because they were primarily interested in activity, but they were not taking in the information, the feedback that was coming back as information, or whether the project was making progress or not. So what I actually told them is you need to check yourself that when you're doing all these things in your project, that you're not just like you're seated in a rocking chair and you're rocking back and forth, but you're not making progress. You're busy, you're rocking yourself back and forth, but you're not making any progress. So that is a picture that I give them so that they'll begin to pay attention to the information also, the information angle of their activity. So how can we apply this to our day-to-day life? One, it helps to understand what our primary interest is, because then we know what it is we are really, really good at. But then also it helps us to identify the gaps, because just because you're good at information doesn't mean that you don't need to understand what's happening with people, with activity, with places, and with things. So we understand what our gaps are, and we understand the kind of questions that we need to ask ourselves, especially when we're engaged in leadership or in planning, because those gaps will show up because we'll plan without thinking about them, because we find those things boring and we don't even consider them. So that is one, understanding our primary interest, understanding what we are good at, understanding the gaps and finding ways to close those gaps. It also helps, this is now number two, it helps to understand your teams, the primary interests of the various team members, the various people in your team. Because one, then you know how to motivate them. You know how to place them in places where they are strong, the areas of primary interest, place the people person in activities that are going to be people facing. Place the person who is interested in things in the places where you're going to be acquiring and maintaining stuff. Find the person who is a geek in a particular area of information and then place them in a position that's going to use that information. So it helps with that. But then it also helps you to help them to identify the gaps, to pair them with people who are going to help them to kind of cover the gaps that they have. So that is how you can use it to actually support your team. So do you know what your primary interest is? Have you ever considered this, that people are interested in different things? And have you ever considered how understanding that can help you to improve planning and to improve productivity and to improve motivation?